But let's talk about Afghanistan. There's nothing liberating about that. I was a bit shocked, Carolyn, this week when the Prime Minister said we can't save them all. I get it. But Australia has done better than America. Australia at least did get the bulk of our diplomats and people out. We're going back in now to try and rescue more. But it's just bloody awful. Everything I hear, everything I see is awful, Caroline.
It really is, Gary. And they say that the fastest and easiest way to do something is to do it properly the first time. So as far as the issue goes with, various interpreters who have helped us over the years and other people applying for humanitarian visas to Australia and our own people, this is a conversation we've been having as a country, into the recent couple of months, but going back several years. And I feel it's very unfortunate that it has come to this, where we now actually have to put more of our soldiers potentially at risk to be able to get these last few people out. I'm not quite sure exactly how many of them there are that we do need to get out. And I said on Sky, it would have to be a couple of months ago, that anyone who was applying to Australia for a humanitarian visa, that what we should be doing is to get them out of Afghanistan, get them to safe, neutral territory, and then process their applications. I don't think that it was a good move to just leave them there, and definitely hasn't, in my view, been handled quickly enough by our bureaucracy.
Bronwyn Bishop, it's a big issue, and I don't feel... I think that we were right to go there for all the reasons Australia always fronts up for these sorts of wars. They're not on our shore. We fought it over there rather than fought it here, although there certainly was brought very close to our door. We were dealing with terrorists who were using Afghanistan as a base. But as somebody has remarked today, it's taken 20 years, trillions of dollars from the Americans, 4 US presidents, and the Taliban's now being replaced by the Taliban. This is an awkward, at the very least, but a really awful situation.
It's appalling, Gary. And it's appalling to see the way it's been done. As I've watched those press conferences, and what a joke that turned is by Biden. Not a question. He simply gets up there and makes a statement or two. But as I watched him say, the buck stops with me, and then blame everybody else in sight, including the Afghanis themselves. And then when he's reminded about the scene of the Afghanis falling off the aeroplane to their death, his answer was to say, "Oh, that was 5 days ago." I mean, really, how on earth have we got to this situation where did we trust the intelligence of the Americans about how long they anticipated it would take the Taliban to, honour the agreement with Trump or whatever was the proposal that was at hand? So I see that we've got an enormous problem, and the one that just breaks my heart is what's going to happen to the women and the girls. There's a whole generation of young women who are 20 years old who have not known the oppression of their mothers, and yet they're about to be put back into that medieval lockdown, which is just too horrible to think of. I had this map. I'm going to show it to you. This was made and given to me by Afghani women. It's a map of Afghanistan, and they wove it. And they wove it because they were wanting, and gave it to me because they were saying, "Thank you, we've been free." And every time I look at it, I think about what's going to happen to them and how Biden has sentenced them. And he will wear this like a noose around his neck. There's no two ways that he can ever be held up as a man of honour, ever. And that means that we're going to have to reappraise the way we do things, because how are we going to say, we've always gone in with America, will America come with us, will America defend Taiwan? What will Biden do? The damage is enormous. And somehow we have to plan our resources here so that we have some chance of looking after our own destiny. And that means we have to concentrate on fortifying our nation, on returning manufacturing ability to our nation so we can make the things that will make us more resilient. And that means that we cannot afford to get on this nonsense about climate change and penalise our own ability to look after ourselves as a nation and not become a vassal state of China. And it's a whole progression that out of what we've seen occur, and the people who have assisted us, who not all of them are going to make it, but most of all, watch as these women and girls are just put back into slavery.